Today I'm giving you 5 reasons paper towel makes a great reptile substrate. First, a side note, the Finding Dory design is optional, but it's a pretty good choice. So I see a lot of people online, whether it's on a forum or in the comment section, say the paper towel is a bad choice because it's not just out in the wild and they're not going to naturally be on it. But if you think about it, like sticking a reptile like in a little tank in your room isn't very natural either. There's certainly nothing wrong with that as long as you're giving it proper care, like all of us do. But basically what I'm saying is a lot of things aren't going to be as they are out in the wild, and that's okay as long as it's still a good option. And some things are better in captivity, like if you notice, captive animals' lifespans are always much longer than they are out in the wild, or at least a little bit longer, whether it's in zoos or just in a terrarium or something like that. So just because it isn't natural doesn't mean it's bad. So getting that out of the way, we can get started on reasons why this is good. Firstly, it's available everywhere and it's pretty cheap. You can get a ton of this at basically any store, whether it's like Target or Walmart or any grocery store or any drugstore. You're probably gonna find paper towel and it's inexpensive, although you might go through a good bit of it. You won't use too much, but it will be quite a bit eventually depending on how many animals you have. It's still cheaper than buying like big bags of bedding they have to replace and go through. Secondly, it can be absorbent. And this is good because it can actually basically, once your reptile does its business of the week or of however often it does it, you can simply replace the paper towel or just replace the sheet that it's on. This is much easier than a loose substrate because you basically have to hand pick it out and you might miss some pieces that have germs or bacteria that could affect your animal, so you want to avoid that as best as possible. And an almost guaranteed way to do that is by using paper towel, because everything will be on top of that substrate or the towels as long as you're covering the whole tank. Third, also this has to do with it being absorbent, is you can purposely get this to absorb water, and that can bring up humidity. Humidity is important for certain animals or just for certain times, which brings me into number 4, which is it can help if your animal is shedding. So if you have a snake or lizard that maybe gets stuck in shed or has issues like that, you can use paper towel and then put some rough things like rocks and hides and water bowls that it can rub up against, and if you just dampen this a little bit while it's going through shed, it's going to have an easier time to getting that shed off because of the humidity. You can do this with a loose substrate, but it can be a bit more difficult, and it's just much easier with this. Finally, I'm sure there's more reasons, but the 5th that I have today is it's great if your reptile is sick, because if you have a sick animal, or if it's infected with mites, or has some sort of parasite or illness, it's really easy to keep the tank extremely sanitary with paper towel. So when I got my ball python, he actually had mites when I got him. I'm not sure if that was the fault of the breeder or if it was because he was at Repticon, so there were tons of other animals around. But however he got it, he had it for months, and it sucked because it is so hard to clean out that substrate. So I took out all the substrate and used paper towel for a few months. I still replaced it constantly, I treated him for mites, and it still took forever and it still sucked, but it was much easier than it would have been if I used loose substrate the whole time. And same if the animal is simply sick. If it's sick, it's probably going to have some diseases or bacteria basically in its system, and that can come out whether it's from doing its business or just anything, just even being on this. It's easy to take out and just replace, throw this away. You don't have to clean it, you don't have to pick out little bits of substrate. It's just all around super easy to keep the tank very sanitary with paper towel. So it might not be the best look, and it's not great for naturalistic looking vivariums. It is still a great option to keep your animal safe and healthy and keep your job a bit easier. So that's it for this video on paper towel as substrate. Hopefully it helped you out or you enjoyed it. If you have more questions, make sure to ask me. Also, my email changed. I know a good number of you will email me with questions. It's no longer nchnnews@gmail.com. It's now alex@goherping.com. So I finally have it connected to my domain. So send any questions that way. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.